So guys, today we'll be retyping every Pokemon. So every Pokemon can have one or two types. And no, I won't be retyping, for example, oh yeah, Squirtle, what type could it possibly be under its water? If it's a one type, we can add a second type to it, but if it's a dual type, we can change one of the types of it, basically giving all these Pokemon a new flavor, or even removing the dual type, because it doesn't really need it. So first is the Bulbasaur line. So Bulbasaur is grass type, perfect. Poison. Does Bulbasaur need the poison type? Okay, so Bulbasaur can't have the poison type. So what other type would put perfectly for Bulbasaur besides Fairy type was the one because Bulbasaur brands are good, but that's like a very horrible reason. The other type would be fire because of photosynthesis, but it would ruin the whole fire type trio. Okay, then Bulbasaur would be the grass type or fairy type, because the salamander line, there could be fire dragon. So Bulbasaur being grass fairy would work just to balance out the types. But salamander would be, Salazar right, of course. We all know fire dragon, and of course Squirtle line would be water steel. Basically, yeah, because the steel type would counteract the fairy type, and the fairy type would counteract the dragon type, but the dragon type doesn't really counteract steel correctly, so. But at least we retyped them. Next is the Caterpie line and Weedle line. So we're keeping the bug type, obviously. So the Weedle line will be changed to Bug Dark because Weedles are seen as bad, evil. Especially in the anime where Weedles are portrayed as evil Pokemon, and Caterpie and Butterfree will be seen as psychic types because they have psychic powers, or at least Butterfree. Another type for them would be Fairy type because butterflies are generally seen as good, and Butterfree seems like a pretty good Fairy type as well. Next is Pidgey line, of course, just pure flying. Just scrap the normal entirely, pure flying. Next is Rattata. Okay, basically that's Dark type as well. The Alolan forms, that would be the big problem. Then Norwalk, would be ground type because they are on the ground. Spearow and Fearow, yep, that's pure fine. Ekans and Arbok would be poison ground because snakes love the ground. Yep, very weak reasoning, but that works as a hell as well. Snakes love the ground. Yeah, that's very weak reasoning. But yeah, they did have Nidoking, it worked. Next is the Pikachu line. And Raichu would be ground type because Pikas, dig holes in the ground. Pikachu's inspired by Pikas, so was the animals found was a very hard to find animals. Alolan Raichu, so we really touch the Alolan forms because those would be very hard to change the types. For right now, I would change the psychic type for fairy type because it's a very similar type. Sandshrew and Sandslash. Well, they're based out of shrews. Ground type works perfectly, but an added type of steel would work perfectly because Sandslash and Sandshrew, they have, or poison type would work as well for both of them as well because they're based off porcupines, which are venomous in real life. Next is Sandshrew, Alolan Sandshrew and Sandslash. Just making them pure ice would work, or ice poison like of Sandshrew and Sandslash. The Nidoran line would obviously be poison ground. Probably Nidoqueen and Nidoking was already poison ground. So if we had alternate types, so yeah, they'll just be pure poison. Can't think of another type as well. The Clefairy line, of course, would be psychic type because they came from space. Vulpix, of course, Fire Ghost, easy peasy. For Alolan Vulpix would be Ice Fairy, but if we type Alolan Ninetales, it would probably be Fire Ghost. No, not Ice Fire. Where if Alolan Vulpix, because they are still Ninetales, or Ice Ghost. But yep, that's very easy. Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff. If they ever make a sound type, then there'll be Sound Fairy, but there'll just be pure Fairy. Zubat and Golbat. Since bats are seen as evil and bad, it will be Dark Fine. Artist, Gloom, and Vileplume. These are pretty difficult ones because this is one of the Pokemon that the types work very well. But Artist, Gloom, and Vileplume, basically, This is very hard. They make him pure grass because, or grass talk because weeds are considered bad. But yeah, the grass poison type does work very perfectly well. But my alternate types, grass or grass talk, would work as well. Paras and Parasect. Well, Paras and Parasect would be Bug Ghost. Why? Because they're practically zombies, and especially Parasect or Bug Doc because, yep, because evil mushrooms taking it over. The mushrooms evil is taking it over. Venomite and Venomoth. These are also pretty difficult. Venomoth, bug fine. That's an easy change. But Venomoth will just be pure bug type. Digger and Dugtrio. These are pretty difficult ones as well. But they would likely be ground dark because there's rocks. Yeah, very weak reading. Same thing of Rowan, Digger, and Dugtrio, but ground fire. Meowth. The problem is there's three versions of Meowth. Meowth would be dark fighting or something, because cats fight, and yeah, basically this ad fighting type could be a pretty good one for Meowth and posing because cat fights memes as well, you know, growing Meowth I think is based off like Vikings and stuff. So yep, and Persian would be dark fighting as well, or dark steel because cats have soft claws. Psychic and Golduck, water psychic, easy peasy type things right there. Mankey and Primeape, well fighting dark because Primeape and Mankey are always angry. Growlithe and Arcanine, this is another one with a type. Oh yeah, fire at normal because they did it with Pyro, but they can do a Growlithe and Arcanine. Pyrag. Oh, this is the problem. This is probably a problem because there can't be. Yeah, probably water fighting. Poliwrath is always water fighting, so or you can just make a pure water type to match with the line. But water fighting works perfectly for Poliwrath. I don't know why would they change it. Abroline, oh, this is pretty hard. Maybe Fairy because reasons. I can't. There's really no reason to give it another type. Fairy would be a pretty cool type combination as well, or fire because they can use psychic power to create fire. Matok, and Matip. Well, of course, ground because they fight and beat up the ground, and ground is a form of fight, and then fighting ground is a pretty cool type. Next is Bellsprout, Weepinbell, and Victreebel. The problem they would be, they're based off Venus fly traps, and grass poison works perfectly for them, but I think they would probably be just pure grass types and just remove the poison type. I don't really see any other types that would fit with them besides from Dark, and I think we're already using Dark already. Tentacool and Tentacool. Tentacool would be water Dark because it's in its name. Tentacool would just be pure water. Geodude, that's pure rock. Alolan Geodude, that would be pretty difficult because the type works perfectly well. Rock Steel would be another good type for the Alolan form because Kring exists and that's not an electric type, or Porygon. It's a freaking normal type. Ponyta, Fire Fairy, simple as that because ponies are seen as nice. Rapidash is based off a unicorn, and Ponyta would be Psychic Fairy because it's evolution Psychic Fairy, and of course Rapidash would be pure psychic if they really wanted to change the typing of it. Next is the Slowbro line. The Slowbro line would be just water because it's Slowpoke. It can't really have anything new. It's just pure water. But I think Slowbro could be good water steel because or water rock because the Zelda is basically a cram it can use as to especially Squirrel and Slowbro, but Poison Psychic works pretty well. But another type for Slowpoke would probably be ground because it's ground, but it's not very good. It's easy. Magnemite and Magneton, they're just part of this Axis Steel type and just let's make them pure electric types again. Let's forget that steel type ever existed. Farfetch'd will be fighting fine because it can't really fly. Doduo and Dodrio are fighting fine. They've still been fighting fine from the start. Or let's remove the normal type from all three and let's get rid of it. Seal should have been water ice. Dugong, if they really want to keep continuity, they'll just make a pure water. Grimer and Muck will be poison. What other type would he give Muck and Grimer? What other type? besides poison. If we had to give it a secondary type and besides Dark, it would, because Dark is the evil type. And Grimer and Muck, oh, I would change it. Grimer and Aurora Muck, since they're considered friendly, they would be Poison Fairy. And normal Grimer and normal Muck could be considered Poison Dark. Basically, because normal Grimer is not really kind, and Aurora Grimer, that's just nice. Pretty friendly. Zelda would be Water Ice, simple as that. But another alternate typing would be Water Rock because crams are very, very hard. Gastly, Haunter, and Gengar will just be pure ghost type. The problem is that they're based off gas, and gas is poisonous. So, Onix will just be pure rock type. Hypno and Drowsy, Psychic Dark type, because Drowsy and Hypno are already pretty suspicious Pokemon, pretty sus, so they're Dark type. Next is Krabby and Kingler. What types are... Oh yeah, fighting type, because crabs can fight easily. And they already have a crab fighting type Pokemon, so why can't Krabby and Kingler be fighting type as well? Next is Execute and Executor. Well, let's give them Grass Dragon. They already have the Alolan form. It'd be pretty funny. It'd be hilarious. Okay, or Grass Ground, because they're plants and they grow off the ground. Voltorb and Electrode, what other type would you give them? Oh yeah, fire type, because they love to explode all the time. Cubone and Marowak. Alolan Marowak is Fire Ghost. I think it's a perfect typing. If you really want to change, it'll be Ground Ghost. But Cubone and Marowak would probably just be normal types. Didn't see any reasoning to give them the ground type. They work perfectly as normal types. And it would also fit into the theory that they are Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee. Oh yeah, these could be very difficult ones. Probably fighting normal, because they're just normal fighters, basically. The typing hasn't been used yet. Rigatung will be poison type because it's just gross Pokemon. It's gross. Coffee and Weezing would be poison dark. In contrast to Growlithe and Weezing, because similar to using for Muck, they are the evil versions of Growlithe and Weezing. The evil version. Growlithe and Weezing. I actually, Growlithe and Weezing would be poison. What is a weird stereotype? Poison Ghost, because its guys go, but they would have to change its origins a bit. Rhyhorn and Rhydon. Well, they're based off rhinos, and I think the pure ground typing would work. But they are like based off rock, since they're like rock rhinos. Then it would be ground steel. Chansey, fairy type. Tangela, grass poison. I'm surprised it's pure grass type. Kangaskhan, normal fairy, because Kangaskhan is a very protective parent. And being a protective parent is very kind. Horsey and Caesar will be water dragon. Goldeen and Seeking, water normal, because they're just plain fists. Yep, simple as that. Plain fists, water normal. Staryu, water psychic. Starmie, if they really want to keep continuity, they should just make it this pure water type. The psychic type is pretty cool though. It works perfectly, but I always thought the Staryu was actually a psychic type, so that's why I added psychic type to Staryu. Next is but another good type of Starmie would probably be like, the fairy type, or the fairy typing as well, because gems are beautiful. Mr. Mime, let's drop the fairy because Mr. Mime's evil. We give it a dark type because Mr. Mime's evil Pokemon. Not good, Next is Cypher. Well, Cypher can't warn fly, so let's remove the fly type. Jinx, Ice Dark, because Jinx is creepy. Or Psychic Dark. But Ice typing is like iconic part of Jinx. Electric Buzz, electric fighting, because it can fight. Magmar would be also fire fighting. Basically starting the whole fire fighting trend. Pinsir will be bug dark, because Pinsir is Pinsir. Tauros would be just ground type, because it's just a bull. Magikarp would be water normal, because it's just a normal average fist, like the other, like Goldeen. Gyarados, water dragon. And basically Lapras would be the counter to Gyarados. But also because it's based off a dinosaur, another alternate typing for Lapras would be Water Dragon. But Water Ice is basically perfect if they didn't make Gyarados a Water Dragon type, because it would be a good counter to Gyarados. Ditto. Problem with Ditto can be any Pokemon. psychic type because of its molecules. This is the biggest problem, the Evolutions. But we just add ground type to all the Evolutions because they are on the ground as well. Vaporeon could gain the ice typing, and Jolteon could gain the ground typing along with Eevee. Flareon, another hard one, would be, just get ground typing. So you can at least have a different typing. But the Evolutions, that's like the hardest one. We had to go for Porygon, electric type. Omanyte, well, another ultra type would be Steel, because those cells are hard as steel, especially Kupodo and Kabutops. Or Dark because of the Pokédex entry, Kabutop's Pokédex entry. It'll extend to Kabuto. Or just make them all pure water. But rock type makes really sense because of their cells and they're from fossils. But steel type makes perfect sense. Aerodactyl obviously just remove the rock type and make it a dragon type. I know we'll lose the whole point of it being a fossil, but Dragonflying, I think it was originally Dragonflying before it became a fossil. So that's an easy one. Snorlax, obviously, it eats a lot. Steel, poison. Steel because it weighs a lot. It's heavy, and its body is so strong it can withstand poison. And it'll be the only steel poison type. Oh yes, the legendary bow is another difficult one. Maybe make them pure flying, but those types work perfectly. There isn't really no need to change. Same thing in the ground form birds as well. I just like having pure flying type Pokemon because they don't have enough of them. Dratini, Dragonite, and Dragonite will be Dragon Water. Well, if you do not know, these Pokemon have a heavy association with water, which is surprising that they're not part water type, especially Dratini and Dragonite. Dragonite makes sense for Dragonfly, but there are lots of Pokemon that can fly that are not flying type. An easy way around this is to give Dragonite Levitate. Simple as that. They did the same thing with Flygon. Next is Mewtwo. Mewtwo would be dark while Mew would be fairy. If you watch the movie, you would understand that Mewtwo was created by Team Rocket. Team Rocket is evil, and they made Mewtwo evil and made Mewtwo hate all of humanity. Mew, of course, is playful, fun, very, fun. Mewtwo just likes his wife. If you watch the anime, Mew is just pretty fun. He's pretty cute. Second fairy, because Mew needs to be a fairy type. Would be a fairy type if they gave him a second type, because it's Mew. What other type would he give Mew? Or Normal, because Mew is the ancestor of all Pokemon, and Normal is the most basic type, is the other one, because Mew is the ancestor of all Pokemon. And wouldn't be surprised if the first Pokemon ever created by Arceus would be Normal type. And if you like this video, you can request to do a Gen 2 one. Gen 2 would have a bit harder ones. Celebi, so I always bring Grass Fairy. Simple as that. That would be, Lugia would be water flying as well. Those are easy fixes. But yep, that's basically it. Goodbye.